What's up, everybody? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Riaz, bringing you guys NBA Wednesday night slate. We got 13 games here. Super excited to get into this. And if this is your first time watching one of our videos, welcome. We thank you for coming. If you guys can drop a subscribe and like the video, comment on the video too. That's awesome. We love the interaction between us and the fans. It's really something that we look forward to every single video. So we talk a bunch of different categories here. We talk points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers made. We talk a little bit of fantasy score at the end. We string a couple together, and you guys can maybe tell us on a couple picks. If there's a pick that we didn't talk about, you guys can always mention that down below. And if this is your first time even seeing the app, Prize Picks, you guys can sign up down below using promo code Upstate, where you put in $100, you get $100 back for free. So put in $100, you get a free $100 to play with. You can't find a deal like that anywhere else. And if this is your first time hearing about it, you kind of play just like this. You take a guy like Kevin Durant. He's at 28.5. You can choose the over or the under on him in points. He's got a bunch of different categories. 8.5 for the rebounds. He's at 4.5 for assists. Whatever one you like. You can take a bunch of different players. Like I said, 13 games tonight. There's about 1 million players you can choose from. You can string those together. You can 10x your money, 5x your money. So it's an awesome way to play. It's extremely simple, and it's a nice change of pace from the other sites where you're playing against hundreds of thousands of people. So we love Prize Picks. It's been doing great on the channel. We can't thank them enough for sponsoring us on this video. So we're going to dive right into this, man. Going to be a little bit longer video, so sit back and enjoy this one. And Riaz is going to start us off in the points.
Yeah, I'm right back with Wendell Carter Jr. I just love this matchup against Brooklyn. They have a lot of rotating players that come in at center. A couple of them older, like Blake Griffin. Sometimes when they play small, he'll roll in as a center. We know they got LaMarcus Aldridge, and then they got a young guy in Claxton. But regardless, with who they're going to throw in, Wendell Carter Jr. has been smashing so far this year, averaging around 14 points a game. He's shooting 50% from the field, which you love to see for a center. And the best thing about him is he does shoot the three. He's shooting 40% from three, and he's shooting a bunch of threes this year. Even to just go back to last game, he was 4 for 7 from three. So that 12 and a half is a really great line for him.
Yeah, I don't mind that line either. I think this game is going to be pretty high scoring. Might not be the closest game, but I think Wendell can still get there. I think he's the type of player that can get there in 3 quarters, so I'm not really worried about blowout factor at all there. Going down a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot of games that might not be on here. Like the Nuggets game, I'm not seeing right now. The Lakers game, Miami, stuff like that. Some of the stuff is not on here yet. It's a little early, but like I said, there's just more than enough picks that me and Riaz like, and more than enough picks that are here to choose from. That you can definitely get some solid flex or power plays going. The next guy I'm gonna be on. Is Cade Cunningham, man. I like him in this spot. You got the 2 top rookies going at it. His minutes are going up game by game. His price is increasing across a bunch of different apps. And he's just the type of guy that can do a lot for you. Shooting 7 3-pointers the past 2 games. I really like to see that. He's getting to the line a little bit, especially in that game against Philly. Got to the line, shot 10 free throws, and it's been hitting them at an awesome clip. He's only missed 1 free throw all season. So like I said, the beginning of the season, his shot has struggled so far. He's shooting 14% from three. Do we really expect Cade Cunningham to shoot 14% from three? I know I don't. He's probably going to be around. I'd say around 30, maybe 28% three-point shooter as the season progresses, and especially as it goes on, and he starts to take a little bit more. We know he's going to make a little bit more. He really is. They drafted him for a reason. They want him to be the number 1 guy in this offense. 15's low. I expect this to increase as the season goes on and get the discount while he can.
Yeah, the fact that he started off the season only playing around 15, 20 minutes is just tough to try to get going, especially in basketball. But with that minute uptick, him playing 30 minutes, he shoots, the volume of shots he takes is just incredible. Another guy that I like is Scotty Barnes, another rookie who's just been crushing so far this year, really taking advantage of Pascal still being out, and there's really not anything bad I could say about him. His line's sitting at 12 and a half. He's averaging almost 17, which you love to see, and he really only didn't get to this line 2 out of the 9 games he's played so far this year. He's been an absolute monster. they just use him in so many ways, and he doesn't really shoot the three that much. He's shooting only 20% from three, but he's shooting 52% from the field, and it's not like he's not taking double digit shots either. I mean, some games he's up to 12 shots attempts. So Scotty Barnes, great player. I'm excited to watch him play the rest of the year, and if this line stays at 12 and a half, that's a spot you got to take advantage of.
Yeah, I like Barnes in the spot. Actually, Siakam, he did make his return against Brooklyn. Um, don't know if he's gonna play tonight. You know, Oh, actually, the update does say Nick Nurse says that Siakam is going to play Wednesday at Boston, but I'm just curious to see about who he's going to take away the most from. I don't expect him to play the full amount of minutes. I think Barnes is the type of guy that can get here regardless. Um, but I'm just curious to see who shies away a little bit less in this offense. I think Barnes is still going to be fine. I think Anunoby, his numbers might curl down a little bit. Gary Trent's really, just a guy to kind of stretch the floor out there. So we'll kind of see how this offense comes together. Like I said, I still don't mind Barnes in that spot regardless. But let's talk a guy that we're both on here, man. The cover boy for a couple videos ago. The Chicago Bulls playing against the Mavericks, man. We're both on DeMar DeRozan here, and I think still this is a solid discount.
Yeah, at 23 and a half, uh, it seems to me that he's the guy in Chicago. We know he's been the guy pretty much everywhere he's been, but he's really under the radar. It seems like no one really talks about how good DeMar DeRozan really is, and the fact that um, he can stretch the floor. He doesn't take as many threes as you would think. He's more like Jimmy Butler, where he shoots the mid range, gets to the hole and stuff. Uh, but he's just been smashing so far this year, and it's really tough not to think he's going to get 25, 30 points every game that he plays.
Yeah, the thing I like about most about the Chicago team between him and Levine is that they can both have really good games. It's not one takes away from the other. Some of their games, they mesh well together. I think this team fits very well together. Honestly, obviously the record shows this Mavericks game should be a nice uptick spot. I expect a lot of points to be scored. I'm not really on any of these Mavericks guys really. Luka's kind of been he's been kind of killing me this year, man. So I'm really on DeRozan in the spot at 23 and a half. We've seen what he can do with the ball in his hands. Like I said, I'm a fan of this offense and this team, so I'm gonna keep riding DeRozan while the hand's hot, and we're gonna keep going down. I'm in someone in the later game, Riyadh, so I don't know if there's anyone here that you wanted to talk about before we jump down lower.
No, no, DeRozan was the last guy I was
Okay.
looking at.
Yeah, for me, the last guy here, I'm on Curry, man. There's not much that has to be said. I don't know if you watched that Atlanta game, but that game, oh my God, ridiculous game. Curry just, just started off the game hot. Um, I think he was just kind of coming at Trey a little bit. And 50 points. We've seen him we've seen him have some off games this season, but I really think this could be the start of the stretch of a game, the stretch of a couple games where he just maybe averages 35 points in the month of November. I really do think this is gonna, the start of something for the next couple weeks. We're just gonna see Curry just absolutely be like odds-on favorite for the MVP so far. This is just what I'm expecting. The Golden State Warriors are, they're an awesome team, and they still have some pieces that have to come back. I see like Stephen A. Smith, a bunch of analysts calling them the favorite already. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I know I'm confident in saying that Curry can go on a huge hot stretch of scoring. We've seen it before, and I'm very confident. Uh, in his ability as a scorer too. So if the shot's falling, it's over realistically. 19 threes last game, hit 9 of them. He is shooting pretty much 40% from three this season. Is that sustainable? Of course, it's sustainable for Steph Curry. So I like this spot for him, especially against this Minnesota team. Doesn't scare me at all. A lot of points should be scored. Towns is in a good spot as well as Edwards. So I like Edwards in a different category. We'll talk about that. But I'm going Curry over 30 and a half here, just riding that hot hand.
Yeah, I mean we've seen throughout the years when Steph has a great game, he strings them for a while. So 30 points is a little high for me, but we could definitely see him get that, no problem.
And then we'll jump over to rebounds. Um, I'll take all these guys off the points board right now, and then we'll jump to rebounds. And who are you liking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go right back to Barnes, over 6.5. He's averaging pretty much 9 boards. he's only had a couple games where he really hasn't hit this number. I think this number's a little low. Um, in this game against Boston. Boston's not the best rebounding team, and with Barnes' size, he really just controls the boards more than you would think for a rookie. I mean, he's not like when Zion came in and was grabbing a bunch of boards and just palming the ball, but Barnes is is a very undersized. Small forward, power forward, and he uses his body well to grab a bunch of boards. And I think he's just in a great spot here against Boston.
Yeah, this is just one of those spots too where we're kind of just basing things off averages. Um, realistically, I mean, he's averaging two over that. That's a spot where you can always look, and I really do like that. And like you said, against this Boston team that might go out and play a little small. Sometimes Horford doesn't always get the most run, so I really like the spot for Barnes too. I don't think Siakam's going to affect this too much. Like I said, I'm curious to see what his minutes are at as things progress in the season. But yeah, I like Barnes in the spot as well. I'm on a guy here. Um, in this game that's up above a little bit against Washington. This is Jared Allen. He's at 12 and a half. Been absolutely smashing. It might seem a little bit high for some, but we always target centers against Washington. We know how it's been. The stigma's been the same thing for the past 3 years. If a center's going against Washington, they're most likely going to smash. So I like Jared Allen in the fantasy points. We'll get to that a little bit later. Just been killing the boards, averaging 11 on the season. He's had a couple dud games to start the season, but if you race those two games to start the season, he'd be averaging around like 14 rebounds a game. So I just think this is a solid spot for him all the way around. I'm not on him really much in points, but he has been killing in the points category too. This Cleveland offense just plays slow. Um, like they get Rubio involved, they get Garland involved for in terms of playmaking, and I just like this spot. This Cavs team's actually surprisingly pretty good, so I think this is a spot where they do kind of want to win. I don't expect it to be the highest scoring game on the slate, but I think rebounds wise, I like Allen.
Yeah, Allen's been smashing as of late. Definitely in the rebound category. The last guy I want to touch on is Karl Anthony Towns. His line's sitting at 10.5. I love that over. Just like the Wizards, I love targeting centers against Golden State. They really don't have really any center with Wiseman still being out. We know Karl Anthony Towns can grab 20 boards at any given night. He's been on and off with the rebounds. I mean, it's really tough to see games where he's only gotten three and four rebounds as a center. But Karl Anthony Towns against Golden State, even if he slacks with the points, he's going to grab a ton of boards. To me, it feels like he's going to have about 15, 16 boards against this undersized Golden State team.
Yeah, I think it depends. Realistically, I mean, actually, I was gonna say I don't think it really matters which lineup Golden State rolls out. I think that if they do decide to run small, just regardless, it's Towns is gonna have a good game here. I don't think there's really anyone down low that can match up with him very well. I mean, I know Draymond Green's is tremendous, and he could definitely compete with him well on the perimeter. But I think in terms just as a rebounder, Towns is in a really good spot here at 10.5. We've seen games too where he smashed that, so I don't mind him here. I talked about him a little bit in the points category, but yeah, I'm on Towns here over on 10.5 rebounds, and we'll hop over to assists here. I'm not really on much, so I know Riaz is going to have to carry the load a little bit here, but I just didn't want to give you anyone that I'm not really looking at here. There's a couple dudes, but they've just been up and down all season in assists, so I can't tell you much that I like, but I know Riaz has a couple guys.
Yeah, I got two guys, and the first guy I want to talk about is Ricky Rubio. Colin Sexton's out. Rubio's going to step in. He's kind of the last true point guard in this league. He's been in the league for a while, and 6.5 is just a little too low for me. I mean, he really hasn't played that much. I mean, he's averaging about 20, 25, 30. Well, some games he's gotten 30, but regardless of that, he's going to get the start with Sexton being out. Great spot against Washington, and 6.5 is just way too low for me for someone who could go out there and get 15 assists at any given night. And then the last guy I want to talk about is Patrick Beverly. Um, he's been coming in as of late for this Minnesota team. They're definitely going to need him to really distribute the ball. We know Russell's not that guy. He's more of a pull up shooter. He really doesn't like having the ball in his hand, and the fact that you have him and Karl Anthony Towns just really helps the playmaking and just racking up a bunch of assists. And I think that line at three is just a little too low. I mean, he's kind of streaking right now. Really, only one game in the past like 6 games where he hasn't reached that mark. So I really love that line at three.
I don't mind this one either. I think he's gonna pretty much be out there majority of the game tonight, just to kind of be a pest against Curry. So obviously they know Curry's got the hot hand right now. They're gonna want to roll Beverly out there just to maybe pick him up to 3/4 court, maybe even full court. Just be a pest. I don't think it's gonna be an issue for Curry, but I think just a matter of Beverly being out there, just kind of throws more throws more ability for him to get more assists tonight. So I don't mind that. Just in terms of minutes, I think if as long as he's playing over 30 minutes, I think he's very viable to get over 3 assists here. So I don't mind both of these people either. Rubio's a guy. As soon as as well as if he's in that role really in the starting point guard, I don't mind him at all really there. Sexton is out. And like I said, this offense plays slow. I think this benefits Rubio in the spot too against Washington. So yeah, I think he's in a pretty good spot as well. We'll hop over to 3 pointers made. Let's see if any of these updated. There's a couple guys here that are new, but I'm still kind of on the same guys. But I'll let Riaz start.
Yeah, I got two guys in this category, and the first guy I'm going to talk about is Kevin Durant. When I first looked at this and saw the over two, I was like, that is just an unbelievable line for Kevin Durant. We know he shoots a bunch of threes, 6 in the last 4, made 3 the last 2, and then the 2 before that he made 2. So he's sitting right at that line. He's not shooting that great from 3. I mean, he's only shooting 38%, but we know Durant's a guy that can shoot 40, 45% from 3. And with this team, I mean, I wouldn't say they're struggling, but they're definitely going to need Durant's scoring output. I mean, he is averaging 29 a game, and the only way you can really get there is if you're making a couple threes a game. So I like that line over 2.
Yeah, I like the guy right next to him, man. Cole Anthony. He's at 2 as well. I think I mean, realistically, he's been shooting more threes than Durant, and he's been shooting them at a better percentage too. So, I think him controlling the ball gives him more opportunity to kind of just pull it from the top of the key. I love his opportunities on this team. They almost have like the same green light. I mean, realistically, I mean, Durant would have a green light on any team in the NBA, but Cole Anthony is the offense for this Orlando team. He's shooting double-digit three-pointers just about like the last 5 games. Realistically, I expect him to come out and shoot double-digit three-pointers again. He's shooting almost 20 shots a game. He doesn't get to the line that much, but that's not what we're looking for here, man. We're just looking for these three-pointers in this category, and I don't have any issue taking Cole Anthony here. He's had a couple games where he's hot. He shot 11 three-pointers, made 6. Like I said, he's shooting 41%. If he's gonna shoot 41%, shoot 10 three-pointers, just based off averages, he can hit 4 threes tonight. So there's no guarantee in that, but like I said, just based off of volume and his percentages, I love Cole Anthony in the spot. I don't think it matters the final score in this one. I think Anthony's still gonna get his, and I think he's in a really really good spot.
Yeah, I mean Cole Anthony's been awesome this year. He's kind of doing what we thought he was going to do when he came into the league. The last guy I want to talk about, it's in the same game, and that's James Harden. We saw him finally get a foul called. I think it was either last night or 2 nights ago, and he was all excited. But with this league and this new rule, I think James Harden's just getting so frustrated with not getting to the line as much as he has been. And he's just gonna keep shooting a bunch of threes like he has. Out of the last 4 games, 2 of them he shot in 10 and 11 threes, made 5 and 3 out of those. His line's sitting at 2.5. I think he's gonna make around 4, 5 threes tonight. I think this line is no problem for him. We kind of see him getting going a little bit. Not really scoring like the 30, 35 points we thought, but against this Orlando team, small guards, I think he really takes advantage of that and just puts on a performance that we've been waiting for all year.
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for Harden all year too. I mean, realistically, I bet on him in some 3 point categories, and I've had some decent luck with 3 pointers. The only thing that's been struggling with James Harden is the points. I haven't had the urge Since like the past, I've been on him probably 11 games through the season, twice in the points category, but literally you could have made so much money off the under on Harden this season that it's just crazy to even think about. We are waiting for a game, and I like to target Harden in bigger games in the points, but I think for 3 pointers, like you said, just in terms of volume, and we know how good of a shooter he is, once things start just going his way, he gets a little bit more confidence. I like this, and I don't mind Durant and Harden in the same game. I think realistically both are going to get theirs, so I like both of them in this spot against Orlando. So we're targeting that Orlando game right across the board. So yeah, I like those all in that spot. To go all the way down, I know I talked about Curry. If I'm projecting him to go over 30, most likely he's probably going to hit that over 5.5. I mean, we'll see. I'm not going to highlight that. I'm just mentioning it. The last guy I'm on though is Anthony Edwards at 2.5. He gets here pretty often. We've seen him hit a lot of threes against some tougher teams and some tougher matchups. Like I said, I think this is a crazy pace up spot. I really like him in the spot to take double digit 3 pointers today. We've never seen him go over 4 3 pointers since the first game. But that's not what we need here. We just need three. So like I said, just based off of volume, we know how good of a scorer Edwards is. I think that he's gonna just improve as a scorer as the season goes on. And just based off of volume, I like the spot. We had a game though where he shot 0 for 6. I don't expect a game like that. I think there's gonna be a lot of points scored, probably one of the higher point totals on the slate. So I really like the spot for him. I don't think Poole is really gonna give him any trouble. On the perimeter. I think it's more or less just like a shootout. Who can make more shots in this one? And like I said, Curry in the points, Edwards in the threes. I'm pretty confident in both those guys. But no guarantees in the DFS world. We'll hop over to fantasy score and then we'll wrap things up. So, who do you like for fantasy score if you're on anybody here?
Yeah, I'm on only two people. The one guy I want to talk about is Montrezl Harrell. You're finally kind of getting a discount, which is kind of weird to say because it's still at 27. But we saw him just explode when he was getting the start and really coming into this Washington team. Like everyone kind of thought they were going to use him a lot. Early in the season, they didn't really use him how we would have expected, but we've seen that he can get a monster double double, and he blocks a couple shots. I think this 27 is perfect. I have him projected around 31, 32 fantasy points tonight. I love the game against Cleveland. I think he's just in a great spot.
Yeah, between him and Gafford, I mean he's the guy that produces more fantasy points and can do a little bit more. Gafford's more of a hustle guy, blocks a couple shots, is really out there to play some defense. So I don't mind Harrell on the spot too against Cleveland. I think it's a pretty tough matchup. I think the front court of Cleveland is solid between Allen and Mobley. Mobley's a lot better defender than I thought coming out of college. So I don't mind Harrell on the spot. I think he can definitely get there for sure. Like you said, double factor for him. So I don't mind him. Right above him, my screen, I'm looking at Jared Allen. I'm hammering him today over 37. I'm over him on the rebounds. I really like him in the spot. Like I said, just absolutely smashing, going against Washington. I don't really need to talk much more about him, but I do like him. I'm probably gonna be playing him in a couple power plays. I really do like him in that spot. And then up again too, I'm gonna talk a little Cole Anthony too because I am on him over this 33. Like I said, he's went out there this season and had a triple double. We know he can do a lot more for you than just score the ball. He's a decent playmaker. And for some reason, some games he will grab like there's games he's grabbed 16 rebounds. So he gets a couple steals. He's not really going to go out there and block shots. But like I said, does a lot for you in that category. And if you can get his shot rolling tonight, like we predict him to, I expect him to smash this 33 fantasy points.
Yeah, and I mean we've seen games where he's had over 50 fantasy points, and his ceiling is probably right around or his floor is right around 30, and his ceiling, I mean, we could see him reach 60, and he's just crushing this year. The last guy I want to talk about, I was on him for the points and the rebounds, so it only makes sense I'm on him for the fantasy score, and that's Scotty Barnes. Even though Pascal had a good game against Boston when he came back, he had 30 fantasy points. Uh, Barnes still went out there, or he didn't play Boston.
Brooklyn.
He played Brooklyn, had 30 points, but Scotty Barnes still went out there and got 36 fantasy points on his own. If you just go by recent, his last five, he's absolutely crushed this number. He's been crushing this number um, in all of his games so far this year. I love the line. You're probably getting a little discount since Pascal's back, but either way, he's not going to really affect Barnes in any way. They drafted him for a reason. They like him. Young team. They just want to make sure he's getting great run and he's going to have a great year. So I'll be on him a lot this year. So
Yeah,
I'm taking that over 31.
I definitely think this is like his floor realistically. Like I said, we'll see how things kind of mesh when Pascal really gets into the offense again. But I think Barnes, I'm on him mostly in this category compared to all the other ones. I do like him in the rebounds, but I think this one is a one where we can see him go out and score 15 points. He can get he can get 7, 8 rebounds. He's a great defender. He can block a couple shots. He can get a couple steals. So like just those couple things, you all throw them together. I think 31 fantasy points is pretty low. Like I said, the past 5 games, he's hit that every single time. Even when Pascal was back, still had a pretty solid game out there too. So I don't mind him here. We'll take the over on that. Two guys I'm on. Then we'll wrap up the video. Grayson Allen just popped up. He's not in really any other fantasy score categories. I mean, really any single stat DFS categories, but he's just been killing it, man. We were on him last night. If you wrote us last night, tough night. We know we're not gonna mention that CJ McCollum cover boy kind of cursed us there, but everyone else played well, man, and Grayson Allen was really the highlight of that to start the night. Going against Philadelphia, he just smashed, man. He started off the game like at halftime, 13 points. He almost hit his over in the first half. He gets that shot going, man. We can see some special things out of him this season. 50, averaging 15 points on the year, which is great. Obviously, Middleton's out. We know he gets a little bit uptick in usage, but I think he's doing well so far in his role. Not a guy that's gonna get a lot of things for the defensive side of the ball. He did have 4 steals one game, but I think regardless, it's just a matter of the shot gets going, and I like his volume lately, and he's shooting at 41%. I really like that double-digit shot attempts, and I think 26 is pretty low for a guy that went out there, scored 25 points last night, pretty much got there just scoring points. So I really like this at 26.
Yeah, I mean, with Middleton still being out, Grayson Allen is still going to get a bunch of run, and we've seen his last 3 games, well over 30. Well, not well over, but over 30 fantasy points, and I can see him around 30 again tonight against the Knicks.
Yeah, no doubt. And then I'm gonna scroll up and I'm gonna talk a little bit of Cade Cunningham here because I'm on him for pretty much everything else. Like I said, we know what kind of person he is. We know what kind of player he is. He had 35 against Philadelphia. I really like the spot for this. Just these two rookies to be going at it. I don't mind Green, but I just like Cunningham a little bit more because I think Cade's just a better overall player. Not to take anything from Jalen Green. Jalen Green's an amazing scorer. I think we might see over the years Green average more than Cunningham. But in terms of just being a playmaker, triple double factor, I don't know if we're going to see a triple double out of Cade Cunningham tonight. I don't expect that, but I think he's the type of player that's going to develop into that. So I think 25 is low. And as I'm scrolling down here, Riaz, I don't know if it's on your end, but there's a lot of things that just popped up out of nowhere, man. We got the Phoenix game, we got Portland, we got Indiana, we have some Denver stuff with Jokic being out, so there's some couple guys here that might be at a discount. Um, Man, there's a lot of things. We got Memphis, we got
Yeah, this
Charlotte. Is there
it's a
anybody
monster
here?
13 game
Is
slate.
there anybody here that just you're scrolling through this quick that kind of catches your eye? Rozier has been hot lately. I don't mind him at 31. Um, I mean,
I don't
we
mind.
could drag this out.
I just got one guy, Norman Powell. He has been smashing. I think that 26.5 is way too low. I love his matchup against Phoenix. Both teams score a ton of points, and he had an awesome game against the Clippers last night, putting up 34 fantasy points. And with Powell, I mean, he does everything. He scores, he gets boards, he gets assists, gets a couple steals. He's just a stat stuffer. So at 26.5, I do like him.
They got Aaron Gordon bumped up at 32 now. Obviously with all the with the suspension of Jokic, which isn't bad. Monte Morris at 26. We've seen him get over that last game. This is kind of where he's been hovering at, but I'm just curious to see where this offense goes with him being out. I mean, the guy I'm probably on the most is Will Barton because he even gets there with Jokic gone. I expect him to have a really good game tonight. I like Will Barton over 34 and a half. Oh man, there's a lot to talk about here, um, but like I said, dude, put it down in the comments if there's something that you like here that we haven't had the chance to talk about. We don't want to just kind of be throwing stuff out there without being able to put a little bit of research into it. So if there's something here that you're looking at that you're like, wow, I can't pass this up, write it down in the comment section below. We'll get back to you for sure. We like all the interaction between you guys, and yeah, even helps us out sometimes. When you put something down, it might be something that we overlook, so we can look at that and be like, wow, that's actually a pretty solid line, or things shift, and you can update us when things shift, and it also helps out
Without a
other people.
doubt.
It helps out other people who watch the video too. They'll look down in the comments and they'll see other people confident in different picks. So, like I said, you guys have been killing it lately. We can't thank you guys enough. We're on the road to almost 400 subscribers. It's just crazy about where we started and where we've gotten to so far. And really though, can't thank you guys enough for all the support. And we hope you guys have an awesome night tonight. Be responsible. Obviously, we're hammering some of these picks, like we say. We're all over a guy, but we were all over the picks last night, and we kind of had a crushing night last night too. So, like I said, just have fun with it, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.